This video is sponsored by The Walking Dead No Man's Land, so it's only fitting that we show you some of the best life hacks that'll help you prepare for and survive that inevitable zombie apocalypse.
If your car breaks down or battery dies, use your improvisational skills to charge your phone with a USB car charger, 9-volt battery, and a key. Car chargers have a voltage regulator in them that'll keep that 9-volt battery down to 5 volts, same as a 12-volt car battery. Be proactive. Toss a few 9-volt batteries in your glove compartment or center console, because you never know when you may need them to help you reboot your phone for an emergency call.
Sometimes we misplace our phone or forget our wallet, but rarely both at the same time. Stash spare cash in your phone's case for emergency situations or for when you forget your wallet and are already out at the store ready to purchase something. It'll save you time and trouble of having to go back for your wallet.
If you find yourself lost in the woods where everything looks the same and you need to find the right directions to terminus, get a small sliver of metal such as a needle. Rub it against your clothing several times. Place the needle on a leaf and float it in some water. The needle will act as a compass and point you north, in the direction of your outpost.
If you ever find yourself without a clean water source, grab a piece of cloth and 2 containers. First, put the dirty water in one container and run the cloth from it into the empty container. After a short while, you'll have filtered, muck-free water, but before drinking it or cooking with it, you'll still want to boil out the bacteria to sterilize the water.
As you probably know by now, duct tape has countless uses. We're going to show you how to turn duct tape into a collapsible drinking cup. Grab yourself a cylindrical object like a bottle, and with the adhesive side facing out, begin to wrap it around the base. Now, you don't necessarily want the adhesive to come in contact with the cylinder or anything that you might be consuming. Go up as high as you wish and make the cup the size you want. When that's done, apply the same technique to the bottom, making sure that the sticky end faces out. Form a good solid seal and then cover up the sticky side by placing another layer over it, but this time facing down. Continue to wrap your cup until you have a sturdy product in hand, and with a hard pull, you should end up with a leak-proof, collapsible cup that you can easily store in your pocket for outdoor activities on the go.
Walking around in wet conditions can really dampen your mood and your shoes. Simply grab yourself a cheap candle and carefully rub it over the outer fabric of your shoes themselves. Keep applying the candle wax until you have a thick layer covering the exterior. Now fire up your hairdryer on high and blast each shoe until the wax melts into the fabric, forming a clear layer of water protection. Next time your shoes come in contact with water, it'll bounce right off.
While we're discussing crucial strategies for survival, we wanted to talk about The Walking Dead's free mobile game, No Man's Land. And if you enjoy turn-by-turn strategy games, this one's going to be right up your alley. You get to use characters from the TV show in actual Walking Dead locations, like the prison and terminus. You take turns by moving your characters around and planning out your strategy. But be careful, because for every tactical maneuver that you make, the walkers get a chance to move as well. It's really a lot of fun to play, and you can get it free right now by clicking on the link in the description. We'll get more into this later, but for the moment, let's continue on with more survival hacks.
Matches and water do not go well together if you're trying to get a fire going. You might find a simple solution with an empty bottle of Tic Tacs or a medicine container. Pop off the lid and fill it with your matches. If you have Strike Anywhere matches, great, you can skip this next part. If you don't, simply cut off a bit of the striking panel from the matchbook. Just place it inside with the matches, pop them in your pocket, and you're ready to go. With a little preparation, you can avoid worrying about your matches getting wet entirely. To pull this off, you'll need some candle wax, matches, and some dryer lint. First, remove the wicks from the tea lights and melt down the wax. If you don't have a heated tray, light a candle for a bit until the wax starts pulling up. While the wax is melting, grab a match and wrap some dryer lint entirely around it except for the match head. Once it's done, dip the entire thing in melted wax to essentially make it waterproof. When it's time to use the match, simply scrape off a little bit of the wax from the head and strike the match and watch it burn. We tested it by letting the match sit in water for a little while, then we removed it, scraped off a bit more of the wax, and it fired right up. If your situation calls for emergency lighting but there's no candle in sight, then it's time to pull the kindergarten MacGyver trick. Rummage around for some crayons. Place one on a sturdy fireproof surface and hold a lighter or match at the tip till it begins to catch fire. The crayon will work as a sort of reverse candle in that the wick or the paper is on the outside and the wax is on the inside. These surprisingly last longer than you might expect, and if you're in a bind, they can even be used as birthday candles. So go ahead and file that one for later. If you're in need of emergency lighting that'll last much longer, grab some old cloth and bundle it up. Take a soda can and fill it about halfway with olive oil. Place the cloth inside the can and light it up. Now you have yourself a makeshift oil lamp that'll last for hours. If you want to get that cooking fire going with minimal effort, just grab an empty egg carton and place charcoal into all the slots. Seal it up, light a corner, and enjoy. Now, one of the scariest things that can happen while cooking is a grease fire, but if you have some salt on hand, you can easily avoid burning down your camp. Grab your salt and pour it directly onto the flames. It'll cut off the flow of oxygen that's working as a catalyst and smother that flame. One of the worst things about the great outdoors is the fact that mosquitoes like to hang out there too. You can repel them easily using common household herbs. Since you already have that little cooking fire going, sprinkle some basil or drop some rosemary on the coals. The bugs can't stand it and will stay far away. Another solution is to grab a couple dryer sheets before you head outdoors. Rub them all over the areas that pesky insects might target. Not only do they mask your human scent, which can attract them, but they also contain chemical compounds that repel them. If you've ever had water ruin your shot at salvation, you can prevent that situation with this simple solution. Locate a small container that's no longer being used and can protect whatever's inside from the harsh mistress known as water. A peanut can or empty coffee container should be perfect. Now get a knife and cut a slit from the top to the bottom or vice versa. Then add a small cut inward at each end and bend out the material so you have a small flap. Grab your toilet paper roll and shove it in. Now push a sheet or two out of the flap and you now have a mostly waterproof toilet paper dispenser, which now has the added benefit of hiding your true intentions from your campmates.
A huge thanks to The Walking Dead No Man's Land for sponsoring this video. It's one of our favorite games to play on mobile because not only are you defeating walkers and rescuing humanity, but you get to fortify the encampment you start out with by applying the same critical thinking we provide in our videos. If you're a fan of the television show, you'll recognize characters like Rick, Daryl, even Negan, which, by the way, if you download the game right now from the link we provide in the description, you'll get Negan for free as a special offer.
If you're near water and need to catch a meal, a simple soda can tab and some dental floss or strong string can help prepare you for some ultra survival fishing. Using scissors or a pair of snips, you need to remove about 1/3 of the metal. A good place to start is the center of the top followed by the center of the side. Cut this portion at a 30-degree angle as it needs to be pointy. Bend out the extra bits and snip them off. This will leave you with a nice J-shaped tab to serve as a hook. Pull yourself a good length of floss or string and proceed to tie a couple tiny knots around the top of your makeshift hook. Live bait or bugs is obviously going to be your best bet for landing a big catch, so dig around for night crawlers first. Now just add your bait to the hook and toss it into a nearby water source. If you're lucky, you might just catch dinner, or just be feeding your pet axolotl. The quickest and easiest way to build a simple survival stove lies in an empty can of tuna or cat food. Punch about 22 holes in the can around the top using a single hole puncher. After that, get yourself some methylated alcohol and pour about an ounce in. Spark it up and give it about a minute to prime itself. Now take your boil pot and set it on top. After about 4 or 5 minutes, you'll have a nice full boil and you'll be ready to consume those MREs you have stored in your bunker. If you're ever in a bizarre situation where you have no stove, microwave, toaster, or any cooking devices really, you can always flip your iron over. Just set it on high and use it as a hot plate. We can't really call this a survival tactic because its application entirely revolves around having a power source, but if you're in a hotel without a kitchen, you now have options. That same clothing iron can be used to reseal food packages by removing any air and placing aluminum foil over the bottom and the top of the packaging. Move the iron back and forth while pressing down firmly. You should check the bag every 20 seconds or so until the ends melt back together, forming a perfect seal. Now just toss the bag back in the cooler or freezer and you can cook it up later. If you're ever in a bind and don't have a vegetable peeler, we have a solution for you using the top of a soda can, which is surprisingly stronger than the rest of it. Start by carefully cutting out the top portion of the can with either a can opener or a sharp tool. Now just remove both tabs by bending back and forth until they release. Now bend the aluminum can just a little bit to make it more friendly for your hands, and then bend the part of the lid where you'd normally drink from as well. Now you can easily peel fruits and vegetables or anything else that needs a quick peeling. This trick is especially handy when your camp isn't stocked with kitchen utensils, such as a vegetable peeler. Why pay for temporary hand warmers when you can easily make your own from home? Just get some clean socks and some uncooked rice. Simply open the sock and fill it with rice, leaving just enough room at the top to tie it off when you're done. Although we use baby socks, really any size will do. Once you tie them off, toss them in the microwave for about 30 seconds and enjoy your rechargeable hand warmers. Thanks for watching. Let us know your favorite survival life hacks in the comments, and also let us know if you've downloaded The Walking Dead No Man's Land. Make sure you're subscribed for new videos each week, and we'll see you next time.